Well, let's begin the broadcast with this breaking input coming in. More inside details of CBI's squeezing of the second round of interrogation. Keshav and Neeraj are the individuals who are being grilled at this point in time. They were both staff members of Sushant Singh Rajput, and their statements are being taken down. They have told CBI that they got suspicious on 14th of June because the door of Sushant Singh Rajput's room was locked. And in their long stay with Sushant, they claim that the late actor never locked his door. However, investigators are saying that there are some parts where Keshav and Neeraj contradict each other. And this is about the description of the day when Sushant Singh Rajput's body was found. Senior editor Bhavtosh is joining us on the broadcast. We also have Mohit Bhatt joining us from outside the DRDO guest house. Let's first go across to Bhavtosh. Bhavtosh, the inconsistencies in the statements continue. There are discrepancies even now. Neeraj and Keshav were present in the house on June 14th when Sushant was found dead. Still, their description of what really happened that day does not match.
Swati, today is 8th round of questioning of Neeraj and Keshav, and any agency like CBI, which is India's premier agency, would not waste around 96 to 100 hours questioning Keshav and Neeraj in the case. It's only because of these minor inconsistency and the fact that their statement at some point of time does not match with what they told the Mumbai police that time and again they have been called in for questioning. Same set of questions are being asked about them, about what happened on June 13th till June 14th when the body of Sushant Singh Rajput was found. Keshav and Neeraj have continued to stick to one point, that Sushant Singh Rajput from 8 June onwards had never locked his door, and that that day on 14 June when they found the door locked, they found it very suspicious, that they made several calls and that these can be checked from the call detail records. And because the room was not being opened and they got panicked, and after which they called a locksmith. But CBI officers have said that because of certain places where they don't agree, that time and again they are being called again for examination.
Right, Bhavtosh, stay on with us. Before I go across to Mohit, I am being told that there is a breaking input coming in on the broadcast at this point in time, related, of course, to the NCB probe into the drug cartel. This explodes now after the Times Now's news break. NCB is tracking the details of individuals who could be a part of the drug ring. NCB ropes in top officials. DRI official has been roped in for 6 months to look into the Bollywood drug cartel, the drug net. Remember, Times Now broke the story of first based on the WhatsApp chats that we accessed between Riya Chakrabarti, a person called Gaurav Arya, against whom there are allegations that he could be a drug dealer, although he denies the charges. Let's go across to Mohit Bhatt, who's joining us on the broadcast with more details. A DRI official has been roped in now for 6 months to look into specifically into the drug angle, Mohit.
Mohit, could you please repeat your question?
Mohit, this is about a DRI official who has been roped in by the NCB to look into the drug angle. He has been roped in to this probe for 6 months.
Well, yes, Swati, and we know for a fact that how, and you can see, again, Swati, I'll just ask my camera person to record these visuals. Continuous movement inside the DRDO guest house is happening. This is a CBI official, what we are being told by the people over here. Now, continuously CBI officials are going inside. They're coming back with certain papers, and we know for a fact that how since morning, Riya Chakrabarti, Shobhit Chakrabarti, Keshav, Neeraj, Samuel Miranda, manager of the Waterstone resort, and everybody who was related to Sushant Singh Rajput is going on. Now, coming back to your question regarding the DRI probe into this case, because you see, NCB since starting has been saying this, they want to uncover the whole drug cartel. It's not about arresting few peddlers. They want to know that how all these banned substances, narcotic substances, are easily available in Mumbai with all the Tinseltown celebrities, and they have also in the starting said that this is just the tip of the iceberg. We know for a fact that how NCB has arrested few of the peddlers, and their questioning is going on, though they are not directly related to this case, but whole drug angle has come out in this
Absolutely.
case after time.
Let's also go across to Tamal and Vajul. And before I come to you, Tamal, let's take a look at this. Is this drug circle, Riya's inner drug circle? These are the individuals with whom Riya Chakrabarti was talking continuously on WhatsApp, talks that pertain to the usage of drugs, to stuff which was over, said Samuel Miranda in one of the chats. These individuals are those, their names have appeared, Anandi, Miranda, Pithani, Ayush, Jaya and Shovik, and they in fact at the DRDO guest house of the CBI are also being questioned. Tamal, we are being told that in fact there was a joint interrogation also that took place.
That's right, Swati. Very interesting development, at least in today's course of interrogation so far. Samuel Miranda, Siddharth Pithani and Riya Chakraborty, if my sources are correct, then they are still inside together in one room where cross-questioning, cross-examination and joint interrogation, if you can call it, is still on. It's been several hours. I have learned from a source within the CBI as yesterday it was Samuel Miranda and Riya Chakraborty who were made to sit next to each other. Their statements were cross-examined, their statements were shown to each other, and we have also learned that yesterday Riya Chakraborty's statements had run into more than 400 pages. Mind it, 400 pages, more than 400 pages have been consumed in printing Riya Chakraborty's statement, and every statement has been has received her signature so that there remains no ambiguity in the future, no dispute in the future. At this point in time, yes, Riya Chakraborty is still inside. Samuel Miranda is inside.
Right.
Siddharth Pithani is inside. Just a short while back, we also saw the official from Waterstone Resort has also gone inside. He came in, he went out, and he has come back again. So the interrogation is on, the extensive investigation is on, and Riya Chakraborty for the second day is inside.
All right.
It seems like the day is not over for her as yet.
Yes, stay on with us, Tamal. I'll keep coming back to you. We also have guests joining us on the broadcast. Shaina NC, spokesperson of the BJP, and we have with us political analyst Chetan Singh as well. Chetan Singh, these allegations that the family was making, that Sushant was being kept drugged, he was being kept isolated. There are WhatsApp chats now emerging that in a way corroborate the drug angle, which was first broken here on Times Now, where doobies are being discussed on WhatsApp. Chetan Singh.
See, we need to understand, there are a lot of angles which are coming up here now, and specifically in this high-profile case. We know that various people from across, places and from across sections, they are coming up and they are giving their statements out here on TV channels and all. These statements, these hearsay is not going to, solve any purpose at this given point of time. What is important to understand that these
No, one second. They are not giving us statements on TV channels. We have accessed these chats, the communication that took place between these individuals, and based on that, there were some follow-up questions. And now, of course, the NCB, the CBI, the ED are all looking into it.
One is that, absolutely, whatever you guys are going to project on the national television, certainly the agencies would also going to understand that what they have to take from it, what they have to leave it. So here, what is important to understand that we should not run a kind of a campaign which is projecting only one person.
Why does asking question? Why does asking question mean that we are running a campaign against a particular individual? We are not the ones who are talking. We are not the ones who are talking and asking for doobies. We are not the ones who are saying that the stuff is over. We are not the ones who are discussing marijuana. We are not discussing marijuana on WhatsApp.
Everybody wants truth to come out.
And there's a larger, one second, Chetan Singh, the truth needs to come out. But if there are facts emerging, what's wrong in putting it out there? Shaina NC, and there's a bigger angle. There's a Bollywood drug cartel nexus that is now under the radar.
And there is undeniable proof of this drug conspiracy, and if at all for the first time, I'd like to compliment the media, because the media is actually acting as the investigative agency and doing the job of the Mumbai police. This was not some open and closed case. This was botched up. For 70 days, you didn't have an FIR. You had the Mumbai police not even cordoning off the crime spot. After that, you have an autopsy report where there's no timing of death. There's so much WhatsApp proof to say that there has been consumption of drugs. The CBI has come in and cracked this case and is unearthing all the various angles to this particular plot. The fact is that if Sushant Singh committed suicide, abetment or murder, you and I are not the judges, and we don't propose to be. This is not a political issue, but this is definitely one of law and order. This is definitely one where
Absolutely.
justice needs to be given.
And you know, Chetan Singh, there is no campaign here against a particular individual. There is just one campaign which says justice for Sushant Singh Rajput. And then if you have such incriminating WhatsApp chats that we are exposing here on Times Now, what is wrong in putting out the facts out there on the table? If there were such chats taking place discussing drugs on WhatsApp about the consumption and usage, look at the codes that were being used here for drugs. What is wrong in putting out this information, Chetan Singh? Why is this being called a campaign against a particular individual?
All right. So there are two things which I'd like to tell you now. First, Mumbai police has never ever been told by Supreme Court that they have not done their job in appropriate manner. Not even once. They have handed over the case to the CBI.
No FIR. You have a father who...
Let's focus on this angle. Let's focus on this angle. That is over. That is over, Chetan Singh. Everybody knows what happened, what should have happened, and what did not take place. One second, Chetan Singh and China and see, let's not get caught into this. What happened then? Why it did not happen? But let's focus on the drug angle. Chetan Singh, if the Mumbai police had seized Riya Chakrabarti's phones, they would have come to know about this. They would have stumbled upon this particular angle. Why did that never happen?
See, Mumbai police, Mumbai police has done their job in a very appropriate manner, and now also they're cooperating with the agencies, whether it's the CBI or ED or narcotics. They are cooperating, and on the top of it, they are also investigating. They have investigated, and they have handed over all the facts.
No, it's very interesting. So the investigation continues. China and see, the investigation goes on and on and on for more than 2 months. All that you come up with is rounding up people from big production houses, questioning them, looking into whether projects were being taken away. Fine, you wanted to investigate that angle as well. But here was something that could have given the Mumbai police the lead to move in the right direction.
You're absolutely right. And see, I'm not here to critique the Mumbai police. Mumbai police has done fantastic work in the past. But in this particular case, something does not add up. They did not do their investigation in the first 48 hours the way it should have happened. The drug angle was not looked at. Devendra Fadnavis, the leader of opposition, said time and again, when it comes to the misappropriation of funds, the case should have been registered with the Enforcement Directorate. That was also not done. Now the various angles of whether it is, Ria's suspect interview, which comes out in the public domain at a time where she suddenly plays victim card. I'm not sitting on judgment. I'm not a judge, and neither are the people of this country. But investigative agencies like the CBI, the Narcotics Bureau, are doing what is, and the Enforcement Directorate are doing.
In fact, we have more breaking inputs coming in. China NC and Chetan Singh. Remember, Riya Chakrabarti said Sushant Singh Rajput is the one who used to consume marijuana. He was into drugs and she was just trying to help Sushant Singh Rajput get over it. But Chetan Singh, why is it that these WhatsApp chats do not have Sushant Singh talking to somebody about the stuff getting over? People are taking Sushant Singh Rajput's name. But Sushant Singh Rajput's close associates say he was never into drugs. We have that breaking input coming in on the broadcast at this point in time. And here is someone who's worked very, very closely with Sushant Singh Rajput. Sushant Singh Rajput's farmhouse manager says Sushant was not into drugs and that Riya is trying to malign Sushant's image in an interview. He witnessed a lot of parties at the farmhouse and he's saying that Sushant Singh Rajput was never into drugs. These are the people who were, in a way, attending to Sushant Singh Rajput and his friends when there were parties organized at the farmhouse, and the staff members are now saying that Sushant Singh Rajput was never into drugs, contradicting Riya Chakrabarti's claim that Sushant used to take marijuana and she was the one helping him get out of that. Chetan Singh, your response?
See, my response is limited at this given point of time. We know it well. We have been here.
Okay, let's have a reaction coming in.
के लोनावाला वाले फार्म हाउस से मैं रईस मैं कुछ बात बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये जो ड्रग्स को लेकर जो खबरें चल रही है और रिया भी बोल रही थी कि पहले से लेते थे ड्रग्स कुछ, लेकिन जहाँ तक मेरा सवाल है, मैं इन 2 सालों में कभी उनको ड्रग्स कभी देखा नहीं कि कोई ड्रग्स लिया है कभी। हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत वो पार्टी वगैरह होती थी तो थोड़ा बहुत ड्रिंक और स्मोकिंग्स वगैरह करते थे। ड्रिंक्स मतलब जैसे कि वोडका वगैरह जो भी पार्टियों में तो वो आमतौर पे होता ही है, लेकिन जो नाम जो आ रहे सामने कि ये ड्रग्स के ये नाम है, ये तो मैं भी पहली बार अभी आप ही सुन रहा हूँ कि क्या ये कोई ऐसे नाम का कोई ड्रग्स भी है। जहाँ तक जहाँ तक मेरी समझ है कि ये उनके कैरेक्टर पे और उनकी इमेज को ख़राब करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। प्लीज़ ऐसा ना करें। जो शख्स अभी यहाँ दुनिया में नहीं है, उस शख्स के बारे में ये जो बातें हो रही है, ये सुन के मुझे तो बहुत बुरा लग रहा है कि सुशांत सर को इस तरह के अब ड्रग्स के साथ जोड़ा जा रहा है। मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि ऐसा कोई भी ना सोचे ना बोले।
Well, you heard Sushant Singh Rajput's Farmhouse manager who says, please do not malign his image now that he is no more. And he's also saying that Sushant Singh Rajput was never into drugs and that Riya is only trying to malign his image. Chetan Singh and Shaina, thank you very much for joining us on the debate. We're taking a very short break. Our coverage continues.